Alright guys, we're back here. This is episode 2, so I finally came up with a name. It's just going to be called Scoob Talk. So this is Scoob MMA Talk number 2. And we're just going to talk about the UFC 294 card, any news that broke this week, and there's no card next weekend, so nothing to preview. So basically, huge news the other night. John Jones tore his pec. It's going to take an 8 to 9 month recovery. He was supposed to fight next month at UFC 295 in Madison Square Garden in November. Obviously, he can't fight with a torn pec. And the replacement fight was announced as Sergey Pavlovich and Tom Aspinall for the interim heavyweight title. My opinion, a better fight. I mean, two of the boogeymen of the heavyweight division that probably nobody wants to fight. Two guys that are going to, they have such a high finishing rate. I think I saw a stat that they have combined 15 minutes of octagon time. Or not combined, but they have combined from all their fights. They have 15 minutes each, in the octagon, which is crazy. It's gonna be a 25-minute fight. I don't think we'll even get to 6. To be honest, you got Sergey. He's just coming at you, throwing lead. Aspinall polished everywhere. This is what I'm really looking forward to. It's the classic. You got your power puncher. They both are power punchers, so that's the thing. That's what makes it such a great fight. We'll obviously talk about that when UFC 296 or 295 comes around. But in my opinion, a much better fight. Stipe Miocic would have been coming off a 3-year layoff at age 42. Yeah. I didn't think that John was going to absolutely maul him, but I just really didn't want to see Stipe. He didn't deserve the title fight, in my opinion. And I'd rather see Jones fight one of these dudes. Even though Dana said the other day that they're still going to run Stipe and John. Whatever. But I hope that if John does beat Stipe, we will get to see John against one of these two guys. But you know how they talk. Oh, it's the legacy fight, this and that. But us real fans, we want to see the best fight the best. We don't care about legacy. Obviously we do care about legacy, but we're not sitting here like, oh, it has to be the GOAT versus the GOAT, because otherwise Conor would be getting title shots, and yeah, well, not that he's a GOAT, but he's got the money. Another thing I wanted to start with is just commenting on how hard it is to for fighters to get the finish at the top level of the UFC, because everybody seems to always complain about fighters not getting finishes. Obviously, on their way up, they're finishing everybody. It's the level of competition. You'll see dudes come in the UFC 5 straight knockouts. That's cool and all, but once you get to the top 5, you don't just knock these dudes out. And you see it a lot. You saw it with Anderson Silva. You saw it with Georges St. Pierre. You saw it with Israel Adesanya. You saw it with Volkanovski. These guys get to the top, and you just don't finish the top 5 contenders. Obviously, I saw a lot of people talking about Khamzat Chimaev this weekend, how he should have finished him because he's on short notice or whatever. But who comes in and just finishes Kamaru Usman? The dude's been finished twice. A head kick and a submission, in his 3rd professional fight. And nobody finishes him. I don't think anybody can finish him. Leon hit that leg kick. It sent him to Mars. But you saw what happened in the second fight. You can't just put Kamaru away like that. And that's what people don't understand. Everybody wants to see a finish, obviously. Some people make it look easy. John Jones, when he first got in the UFC and he was getting his title fights, he was submitting people, knocking people out, throwing elbows, all sorts of stuff. Khabib Nurmagomedov, his 13 fights, his 3 title fights, his 3 title defenses were all finishes, all submissions. Some people just make it look easy, and that's why they're considered some of the greats. But even guys like Anderson Silva, they got their fair share of finishes. Adesanya's had his fair share of finishes, but everybody always wants to see the finish. They'll criticize you if you go to the scorecards, but in reality, these guys aren't easy to put away, and that's just what I wanted to address here. So for this past weekend, I thought it was a decent card. Obviously, it didn't go the way we all wanted with a variety of things, including the no contest on the main card, which we'll get to. But starting with Shamar Magomedov and Bruno Silva, this fight was the first fight of the night. It went to decision. It was a 30-27, all three judges for Shar Magomedov. And Shar Magomedov, his striking is as legit as it gets. I mean, he was throwing kicks, spinning stuff, spinning back fists. He was all over the place. Looked very sharp. He got the victory, and he was on his back for a good bit of the second and third round, and he was able to land damaging strikes. He was winning the fight off his back. You don't see that too often. Hats off to him. Impressive victory. He's going to be a problem for anyone in the striking department, or anyone in general in the middleweight division, but he really does need to work on that takedown defense, like Dana said. Next, right here, we had Victoria Dudikova and Jinyu Frey. Dudikova won the fight. She looked very good in there, but she announced after the fight that she was fighting with a staph infection, which she probably shouldn't have said, but it's just, you just don't do that. I mean, she was endangering the remaining 20-something athletes that were going to hop in that octagon, the referees, the people that are going to pick the octagon up and put it away. I mean, to be quite honest. But she looked sharp in there. She got the victory. She did what she had to do. We had Nathaniel Wood and Muhammad Naimov. This was a surprising fight here. Everyone thought that Nathaniel Wood was going to come in and dominate. He was 3-0 at featherweight in his career. And, he lost this fight pretty decisively. Naimov looked good. He landed takedowns. He was landing strikes. He fought a good fight. A lot of people were expecting Nathaniel Wood to beat him, and that's just not how it went. This fight right here, crazy fight. Jubilee wins round 1. He wins round 2. And then Mike Breeden, 0-3 in the UFC. He's probably about to get cut. This dude comes out. He starts barking at Jubilee like a dog, and he was just throwing. He totally broke Jubilee and just finished him. It was tremendous. I look forward to seeing Mike Breeden's next fight. He definitely gained a fan. Even though he missed weight by a good bit. He needs to make sure that he's on weight next time for sure. Dumas and a Zaitar. Another close middleweight scrap. I thought Dumas got the nod. He deserved the nod. It was a good fight. Here we go. Javid Basharat and Victor Henry. Crazy fight. Round 1, just high level fighting, especially for prelims. And then round 2, 15 seconds in, Basharat throws a groin kick, and it lands right there where you never want it to land. And Victor Henry is, you think it's just going to be a couple minutes. He's been pain or whatever. Nah, he legitimately couldn't finish the fight. I think one of the announcers or broadcasters was saying that he might be acting with total bullshit. You can't fake how he reacted to that. I mean, it was a bad shot by Basharat, and they got it right with the no contest because he literally couldn't continue. I mean, he was in so much pain. It would have been a good fight though. I was really looking forward to this one. Basharat, undefeated prospect. Victor Henry's always tough in there. It's a damn shame that it happened. I think Basharat should move on though. I don't think they run this one back. Like they are gonna have to run the one I'm gonna talk about soon. Oh, Trevor Peek. Trevor Peek is so awesome. I mean, this guy, like I said last time, he fights like he's at the bar with 25 beers in his system. He just throws and throws and throws. He's throwing punches not even the right form. I mean, he's just so entertaining. He completely destroyed Mohamed Yahya, the first fighter from the UAE. He made history. Congrats to him. But Trevor Peek got the victory there. On Yahya's home turf. Even more impressive. Here we have Tim Elliott and Mohamed Mokaev. Mohamed Mokaev was losing on 2 judges' scorecards going into the third round, so he needed a finish, and he got it big time. I mean, Elliott had some absolutely deep submission attempts. The triangle, the triangle was he was gonna go out too, because Mokaev always talks about how he doesn't want to tap and whatnot. Elliott was up on the scorecards. Mokaev subbed them in the third round, but Elliott was fighting a damn good fight. He's just a tough, savvy vet. He's been in there with the who's who of the division. Yeah, it just sucks. The triangle he had, some of the transitions Mokaev was working, absolutely phenomenal performance by him. Like I said, this kid will be champ one day. Still looks a little raw, though. I mean, he needs to clean everything up. He does have a lot of rounds where he's on top and controlling, but he's not doing a lot of damage. He needs to specifically up his damage. Sednar Magomedov and Munin Gafarov, totally dominant fight, ended very quickly. He snatched the guillotine, and he was very distraught after the fight. Another one, Aliskerov came in, just absolutely melted Warley Alves. Like the odds, these are not the odds. It was like minus 600 for Ikram, but he did exactly what he had to do. Finished him in 2 minutes. Tremendous knockout by Ikram. Both these guys, Nurmagomedov has lost some fights, and he just seems to come back strong. Look dominant. He's just so lanky. Like his arms, they just slide right in. That guillotine is dangerous. He's got a good submission arsenal himself. Yeah, Ankalaev and Johnny Walker. That's my reaction to even looking at it. I mean, the fight was going well. I thought both guys came to fight. I thought it was going to be a high-skilled, good 3-round fight. That wasn't the case. Ankalaev got Johnny on the ground, and Johnny was trying to get up. He was working himself. He was going to get up. He was working himself up, and while he was still on the ground, this dude Ankalaev throws a knee at his head, and obviously, well, it just took Johnny Walker out. It obviously did a lot of damage to him. The doctors go up to him. They ask, where are you at? And he says, the desert. I mean, he was in the desert. He wasn't lying. But I guess since the doctor was very inexperienced, I mean, he had trouble. And it was the doctor that told Victor Henry that he didn't get hit in the nuts. And that was not crazy. The doctor was terrible. Totally lousy performance by the doctor. Of all people. I mean, he's literally the doctor on the site. Like, what if something actually happened? Yeah, he calls the fight off. Both guys are pissed off. They want to fight still. Dana comes in, tells Johnny Walker to step down. We're not going to do this fight. Yeah, total mess. This Magomed Ankalaev dude, all you hear from his fans and people all around the UFC is how he's a surefire champ. Blah, 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 how great he is. He's going to dominate everyone. And we have yet to see it. I mean, he dropped rounds to Thiago Santos without a knee, and and then the fight against Jan, like his leg was literally chopped. Like you would have think Jan had an axe in there the way that his leg, he couldn't even move. He couldn't walk, so his style is pretty lousy. He's a good fighter, don't get me wrong. But, I mean, just the way that people talk about him, you would think that he's like the second coming of John Jones or GSP or Anderson Silva. Or, like, since he's Russian, like a Khabib Nurmagomedov or an Islam Makhachev. Absolutely not. He just complains. He complains about the decision when it was a rightful draw. He goes on social media calling Johnny Walker a clown. He doesn't even know the rule set to MMA. Like, you literally can't, or the UFC, you literally can't throw a knee when you're on the ground in the UFC. That's just the rules. He doesn't know the rules, and then he goes to talking shit after this. Yeah, totally lousy performance by Ankalaev once again. I think this is like 4 fights in a row that he's looked lousy. I don't see this surefire champ that everyone sees. I think if he faces Prohaska or Jamal Hill when he gets back, he's going night-night. Yeah, I'm just sick and tired of seeing Ankalaev and just the way he acts after these fights. Just totally uncalled for. And the no contest makes me even more mad because obviously, like Peter Yan, when he did it to Aljamain Sterling, it was a DQ. It should have been a DQ. Johnny Walker should have gotten the win, and he should be moving on. Because you got when you're Johnny Walker, you're trying to get to the title. Anybody that's trying to get to the title, you have no time for this. You no time to be getting illegal struck in a fight. And yeah, I've had enough of Ankalaev for now. We'll see how long it takes for him to get back in there. Khamzat Chimaev and Kamaru Usman. Khamzat won the majority decision. Great fight. Khamzat absolutely dominated him in the first round. His damage was a little low, but I still think the 10-8 was called for just because he controlled him for such a long period of time. Like I said, nobody does that to Kamaru Usman. 4 takedowns in one fight on him when he's been taken down once in his career. Absolutely nuts. He said he broke his hand after the first round. Not sure on if that's true or not. But either way, it was a good performance by Chimaev. I think that a draw could have been an okay scorecard, as well as Hamzat winning the fight. I agree with the majority decision, but I do think it could have been a draw too. So that's why I thought it was a good fight. Kamaru came back strong in the second and third, and yeah, it was just Hamzat's a dog. His cardio, once again, a little suspect though. He needs to. If it was a 5-round fight, it could have been a totally different fight. Needs to work on that cardio. Yeah, pretty much. The main event is Islam Makhachev and Alex Volkanovski. Totally surprising here to me. Even though it was short notice, I still thought that Volk would make it a good fight. I still picked Islam to win the fight, but yeah, 3-minute head kick knockout. Highly impressive by Islam, regardless of how short notice Volk was on. Yeah, I mean, there wasn't much to it. Volk stuffed his one takedown attempt. They were fighting. He got head kicked. That was it. It was a pretty short fight. Islam proved why he's the lightweight champ, and he's going to fight Charles Oliveira next. Look forward to that. Hamzat Chimaev, in my opinion, I don't think he should fight for the middleweight title next against Sean Strickland. I think instead it should be Dricus du Plessis versus Sean Strickland for the title, and Chimaev should do one more fight before the title, but I think Dana's going to give Chimaev the title shot. Anyways, just because of his name, it's what the UFC is going towards. That's why Cheeto Vera might be getting a title shot shortly, when he arguably had a really, really close fight with Pedro Munoz, who's like barely top 10, maybe top 15. But that's just what the UFC wants to do, then let it be. In my opinion, I would rematch Chimaev with Costa or with Cannonier or with someone, maybe Whitaker. And I would do du Plessis. Du Plessis earned the title. I mean, what he did to Whitaker, that's a title shot. I mean, Dana said it was going to be a title shot. He didn't follow through, You know how the UFC is. Here is Islam and Volk both posted this on their Instagrams. They met up after the fight, showed respect. That's probably the end of that rivalry. Yeah, they gave us a great first fight, and then Islam really shut the door on that one. Left no doubt. Very impressive. In terms of news around the UFC this week, Walt Harris got cut after he's been in the UFC for a really, really long time. He ended with a 6-8 and 1 no contest record in the UFC. He had lost 3 straight. 40 years old. I think it was a good time to part ways with Walt. Daniel Rodriguez cut. He had just was announced that he was on steroids. He wasn't going to be able to return until late January. Some performance-enhancing drug. I don't know if it was steroids or whatnot. But he tested positive for something. I don't know exactly what it was. He's 7-3 in the UFC, but he does have 2 straight losses to Magny and Gary. I don't know if this is just like till the suspension ends or whatnot, but if it is, it was a good run for D-Rod. 36 years old, he's kind of getting up there. Maybe he can go make a push in another promotion. Update on Adrian Yanez. He tore his meniscus. Officially, he won't be back until January of 2024. He tore it in the fight against Jonathan Martinez on October 15th. And then we have Conor McGregor submitted 3 samples to USADA, and USADA's got their last couple months before they are replaced. Conor's back in the pool officially. He's being tested. We'll see when he comes back. They said he's got to do the full 6 months test, so I think we'll see him probably around the time UFC 300 is. I see him tweeting about Saudi Arabia. UFC said they're going to Saudi for the first time. Don't be surprised if we see Conor McGregor in Saudi Arabia, and don't be surprised if he's fighting Makhachev or Oliveira or Gaethje or Poirier. You never know what's going to happen, but most likely he's going to fight Chandler. But like I said, you don't know what's going to happen. He's such a star. You can't really waste his final years. He's to get 35 now. You're only going to get a couple more high-level fights from him, so you might as well make use of them. But you also don't want him to come back and get mauled. I mean, he's not the same fighter he was, but he still can strike. The dude can strike. Today it was announced that Phil Hawes is fighting Bruno Ferreira on January 13th, and at middleweight. That should be one that ends pretty quick by knockout. Both guys like to throw. Phil Hall's been a little chinny lately. And that's it. There's no fights this weekend. We'll be back the following weekend for Lewis versus Almeida fight night in Sao Paulo. UFC's going back to Brazil. It was a great week of fights once again. Could have been better, though, especially with Ankalaev being so lousy. But, yeah, that's Scoob Talk MMA 2. Thanks, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe, and be back next Thursday. Peace.